First at 4, Vice President Kamala Harris in Charlotte today, visiting Eastway Middle School to talk with students and school leaders about kids and preventing gun violence.
WBTV education reporter Mary Calkins has more on the vice president's visit.
Vice President Kamala Harris says gun violence is an epidemic, and today she's convening with school, local, and state leaders about prevention and ways to keep kids safe. Vice President Harris arrived in Air Force Two at Charlotte Douglas International Airport Thursday morning before making her way to Eastway Middle School. There she greeted students, shaking hands, taking photos, and encouraging the middle schoolers to strive to be leaders. Next on her to-do list, VP Harris hosted a roundtable discussion on gun violence reduction. Also on the panel, U.S. Secretary of Education Miguel Cardona, Charlotte Mayor Vi Lyles, Charlotte Mecklenburg School social workers, and others. Harris announced $285 million in funding to help schools across the country hire and train mental health counselors. The funding is a result of the Safer Communities Act, which will bring more than 14,000 mental health professionals into schools across the country.
In North Carolina, $12 million of those dollars will be received, Mayor, which will include the ability and resources to hire 332 new counselors, and nationally will help to hire over 14,000 mental health counselors for our schools who can do the kind of work which is to lead in group counseling sessions, one-on-one therapy, and student mediation, social and emotional lessons every day.
The Vice President also announced $6.4 million for community violence intervention. That program is known as Project Prevent. It's through the Department of Education, and 7 school districts across the country will be selected to receive the funding. Reporting in Charlotte, Mary Calkins, WBTV, on your side.